Hi there, my name's Len. I'm one of the trustees of MANUP, and with me today is Alex, and I'm going to let Alex introduce himself and the subject. MANUP supports and helps men in their mental health and well-being, and we do that in lots of different ways. We run Thursday sessions, which are kind of drop-in sessions, but we're quite excited that we've got a new form of session coming, which is again 6:30 or 6:15 to 7:15, but it's going to be a bit more structured. We're asking people to sign up for it, and I'm going to introduce Alex and ask him a bit more about it. Alex, what is this thing that you're wanting people, or we're wanting people to sign up for?
So the course is called Real Men, Real Emotions. It's, just to give you a bit of context, I'm a mental health practitioner by trade, worked about 20 years in the NHS in a variety of different sectors, dealing with a variety of different presentations. I'm also a suicide self-harm prevention trainer, but also talk a lot about my lived experience of struggling with my own mental and emotional health over the years and the trauma I've faced. Over the course of my career and from my own experience, I've realised that most people's mental health struggles tend to be emotional struggles, mainly in the sense that we experience difficult feelings, understandably so, from the experiences we're facing or have faced, and often we've learnt ways to respond to them that can be detrimental to our mental and emotional health and cause our life to kind of just be much more challenging. And you know,
so I guess if it's an emotional issue, it's not going to be visible. And so if someone wants to internalise that, there's no real way that anyone is necessarily going to know about it unless they know them really well and know that they've changed their behaviour. Or
sometimes some of us will internalise our emotions. Some people are very good at masking and pretending everything's okay, but others, you can see their emotions literally on their sleeve, and some people will express their emotions in quite destructive ways or quite aggressive ways, not always to other people, but you can see it in their behaviours that people are struggling. And you know, through doing the stuff that we're going to do through this course, we're going to learn to identify better with our emotions, what they are trying to tell us in some ways, learn about how our nervous system and, you know, how the stresses we experience on a day-to-day basis can affect our emotions and cause them to become stronger and more intense. And we're just going to learn ways for us to kind of sit with them, deal with them, respond to them in ways that could kind of essentially get us better results in life, whether that's with our relationships, our careers, just how we feel of ourselves and things like that. So
if people want to sign up for this, you've given us like a broad brush what we're going to cover. Are there separate sessions that will deal with particular things?
Yeah, so basically the course is 8 weeks. It's a course because each week builds on the last. We basically start off by looking at just understanding our emotions and our needs, because in my experience, and there's a lot of theory out there that suggests that emotions kind of are giving us information, and often they're telling us like whether our needs are being met or unmet. So for example, you might, the feeling emotion of loneliness might mean that we're lacking connection, and a really important emotional need, but also like maybe feeling joy maybe that we're just engaged in something, in a goal or working towards something, some kind of sense of achievement that it matters to us. So emotions are always telling us stuff. So the first week's all really about working with that and identifying our emotions. The following week we then start, the second week we start looking and learning about our nervous system and our different nervous system responses and how our nervous system responds for us. There's loads of different stuff out there, but really about what kind of emotions come up when maybe we're in fights, freeze, fawn, or stuff like that. You know, so all those sort of nervous system responses we encounter. But also we learn about the window of tolerance, which is an important component of this, where, you know, for example, when we're outside of we can all tolerate so much, right? And when we're in our window, we can learn to respond to things in relatively calm, composed way. But when we're outside of it, through simple things, just like having a bad night's sleep, then we can start maybe experiencing more of those negative emotions, or what are felt as negative emotions, and that can make things more challenging. And then from the following 5 weeks, we learn ways to intercept them and respond to them in healthy ways, which are going to work for us. This isn't complicated stuff, it's real basic stuff. And each week you'll get homework to go do, nothing too intense. I went to school, I hated homework, but like, it's really basic practices that you go away and apply to your life and see what sticks and what works for you. And then the last week, we kind of have a big reflection on how it is, to see where we've come from, what we've learned, and what we can take away. And then really it's about then consistently applying it to your life.
Who is this course aimed at?
Well, the course, I mean, any human who struggles with emotions, but in particular this is for men. Obviously this is for MANUP, a charity I think are doing some amazing work for men who are struggling with their mental health and various different stressors that can make us feel pretty crap about life. But it's for anyone who kind of feels like, my emotions, I find that sometimes I'm struggling with them, and like I end up engaging in things that maybe I don't want to do. Maybe this is causing me to have some friction in the relationships, or maybe causing me to struggle to maintain relationships. Maybe it's causing me to struggle to achieve goals I want to in life, that sort of thing. But it's not too taxing, it's really simple stuff. But people have found, who've done variations of this course with me before, have found that like when they start engaging and applying this stuff consistently to their life, they like, it makes sense, and it causes huge transformations for people.
So taking myself for example, when I was younger, if I was asked what I'm feeling, I'd go, I'm not feeling anything. So if I'm not in touch, how can this course apply to me if I'm not in touch with my feelings anyway?
Well, the thing is, there's no expectation for you to be at a certain point. It's meeting you where you are. So like, some people will be more in touch with their emotions and find it easier. Others will be like, well, I've never ever considered my emotions. The practice, we give you real basic stuff. So it's your journey. There's no competition here, there's no expectation you'll be at a certain level. It's just, we meet you where you are, and I always say to people, take the best, throw away the rest. So if you're someone who's like, I've never really thought about my emotions, and I know that for many people that can be quite, that could put people off, because if you've never been there, or explored this sort of stuff, you can think, I'm not someone who really wants to talk about emotions. But the reality is, we all have emotions. It's not something that any of us don't have. So what we'll do is we'll meet you where you are. So again, the stuff is real basic. It's not complicated, even though I've mentioned stuff about nervous system and window of tolerance. It's all taught at a very basic, simple level, so you can take it away and apply to your life. Because if it wasn't like that, then it wouldn't be. If you didn't understand it and it wasn't applicable to you in your life, then I'd be doing you a disservice.
So are you basically talking at people, or is there interaction going on?
So it's a combination. It's basically what I would call guided self-help. So it's a bit of me. Yes, there's a bit of me talking and explaining certain things. But then there's activities that you'll get to do, very simple reflective exercises, and I do encourage a bit of conversation. But one thing I'm very I think is really important is that I know that when we do online courses, many people don't want to be on camera, many people don't want to talk. So there's no expectation that you have to have your camera on or talk or even have your name up there. As long as we know you're here and you can participate by chatting, that's perfectly fine with me. Some groups I've done with this sort of stuff with loads of people talk, sometimes you get no one talk, and that's okay. As long as you're paid there to pay attention as best you can, and you go away and do the practices which we each week with the homework, then you'll be absolutely fine.
Now, you mentioned homework. Is there any sense in which it's marked?
No, don't worry, I won't be marking you or anything like that. It's literally little simple practices that you can go away that are kind of based around the stuff we've learned to just build some self-awareness. And then there's a few things you might want to practice and see if these things work for you or not. Again, as I always say, it's up to you what you do and what you don't do. I would encourage people to, like, if you're in the course, say, right, for these 8 weeks, I'm going to read, not everything, because we've got lives to live, right, but really invest some time each day to do some of it. But it's not like we're going to say, for 2 hours, I want you to work on this. It's literally like 10, 15 minutes, maybe the end of the day, or as and when you can apply this stuff to your life during the day. That's kind of what the expectation is. But again, it's up to you, Meet you where you are.
So, in essence, it's an hour a week for 8 weeks,
Yeah.
6:15 to 7:15.
Yeah.
And people need to sign up to this?
Yes. So whatever you guys at MANUP decide, however you decide to advertise it, but yeah, I think that's it. So sign up to it. I can't remember the date we started. I think it's end of February, and it will be for 8 consecutive weeks. But yeah, sign up as soon as it's out on the website. And on 26th of February, apparently that's it, well reminded, 26th of February it will start. It will be on the MANUP's website and I guess on the social media channels. Of course, if anyone has any questions and not sure, that's absolutely fine. Just give us a shout and I'm more than happy to answer them.
Okay, so it'll be out there. There'll be plenty of opportunity to sign up.
Yeah.
And people can get involved as much or as little as they like.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Sometimes, some people will love it and get stuck in and do all of it. Other people will just take in a little bit of it and go, that's fine. Sometimes I think what we often we underestimate is just how important just showing up sometimes is. Yeah. So, you might take something and then, this course isn't just going to be a one-off. I'm sure I'll do it again, whether it's through MANUP or other people like that. So there'll be other people often have come along to it once, go, actually, I want to do it again, and then they learn something else from it. So, we'll meet you where you are. It's absolutely fine.
So I suppose another question that people might want to know is courses aren't always free.
No.
So how much is this going to cost them?
So this is completely free. It's funded by MANUP. There is a limitation on how many people we can accept into it because obviously we want to facilitate a course that's safe for the people who turn up. But yeah, it will be free. No cost to these people. The only expectation is you just show up.
Show up. It's free.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
Exactly. We know that there are a lot of stuff like this costs a lot of money, and that's not all. And that's often the barrier for people getting the help they need. That's something I'm really passionate about. And although people have to pay their bills, I think when we have people like MANUP doing amazing things like this and paying for this sort of stuff, I think people would be silly not to jump at the opportunity to do something like this.
Yeah, sounds great, Alex. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Len.